Is the market value really down, or is it just a response to the fear that's going on? Sometimes you have markets react very quickly to something that catches headline news, and they say, is this really going to be a bigger deal than this, or is this just kind of a temporary, concern about something that's going on? What's up, traders? Welcome back to another video here. We are in the office right now, and pressing news on today's headlines and stuff going on in the markets is this stuff going on with the coronavirus. Now, the coronavirus is a serious thing, it is a serious concern, and it is definitely something that's scary. And for the people who are in different parts of the world who are, nervous about it, definitely, my hopes and prayers are towards you guys. I do want to say, though, that the market selling off with the coronavirus right now is an interesting concept in itself. The reason I say that is because the U.S. equities market this morning have sold off quite a bit in fear of what's going on with the coronavirus. We had some upcoming events where I know there's an outbreak a little bit in Italy right now. We have a couple people who have died to the virus. I know South Korea as well. We were just taking a look at some of the headlines. But I want to talk a little bit about, in the investing and trading side of it, what's going on here. And again, not to downplay the severity of this kind of virus that's going around right now, but it is kind of a question of, is the market really down in that amount of in terms of fearful kind of movements, right, to the downside by a few percent? Is the market value really down, or is it just a response to the fear that's going on? Sometimes you have markets react very quickly to something that catches headline news, and they say, is this really going to be a bigger deal than this, or is this just kind of a temporary, concern about something that's going on? And again, by no means am I downplaying the severity of the coronavirus, but I do want to take a look at it from an objective standpoint in terms of trading. Is this something that is really going to cause bigger market moves? Now, of course, it possibly could if the continuation of these outbreaks continue to kind of spike and things continue to get worse. It definitely could cause some bigger kind of panic. But I think that right now, from where things are at, it's a possibility that some of this movement in the currency market and in the stock market is kind of a short-term reaction to some of the headline news. So as a trader, there are some opportunities that come along with this, in my opinion, and there are some ways to look at it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to jump over the chart, take a look at what's going on, and I want to talk about just some of the levels that may come into play here in the coming days or potential weeks on the kind of the markets. Okay, so we're here looking at the S&P 500 chart. I've got some levels that Will and I were talking about just a moment ago here on the S&P 500. But again, we're seeing a lot of sell pressure come into this market right now. You can see we gapped open on the week. We actually are down about 3% from this recent close, which we were already off the highs. So off the highs right now, we are down, nearly 5% on this kind of pullback in terms of what's going on with the coronavirus. That's kind of, again, catching headline news. So in terms of supportive levels and levels to consider, in my opinion, this level of support here might be something to consider going forward as price does pull back. Could be possible that we see a bounce in this area, just purely based off of that support level. Now again, overall the markets do look a bit stretched to the upside, but I think that it's possible here that kind of the reaction to some of the news could be a slight overreaction. And again, I don't mean that in any sort of way of, downplaying the severity, but purely just off of, in terms of markets and potential values here, I think it's possible that this could just be a short-term, pullback here in terms of this S&P 500 movement. So as price comes down to this level, there might be some opportunities to look for, in my opinion, there. If we get some fibs on this as well, we could possibly see if there's anything here. The 61.8% level also kind of catches my eye there. You can see that this level here, kind of this low section, this whole area might be an area of potential support, in my opinion, there, based off of the previous price action, right? We had buyers step in and push price off of this a few times. We are seeing this market a little bit pulled back here, again 5% or so off the high. Might be a decent look for a potential bounce. So that's just a trade idea. Of course, I'm not telling you what you should do with your investments. This is just me sharing my own analysis and responding to kind of what we see going on with coronavirus. So we'll see what happens here, and maybe we'll follow up.
if we do also take a look, we can take a look at the dollar yen. Dollar yen selling off quite a bit here as well, with some of those fears kind of surging to the surface as well. You can see this level also being something to consider. We're looking here at the daily chart. This might actually be a decent level here at the 50%. You can see that previous high there, as price pulls back, might be a level of demand, or buyers might step in and be willing to buy up prices here on dollar yen. So just something to think about here going forward. That's just my own 2 cents on what's going on the headline news, and I hope you guys got something out of today's video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and tune into future content. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys back next time.